Alright, today guys, we're going to be multiplying two two-digit numbers, but you're going to use both the area model and we're going to start talking about the standard algorithm. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Today we're going to go through these first couple problems together and then you guys will work through the rest on your own. So 23 times 54. We're going to first do the area model. That's where it says two partial products and the distributive property. We're going to first do that and then we're going to put what we did over here into the standard algorithm. So let's start. We have 23 times 54. Okay, and so what they did with this algorithm, or with this area model, I'm sorry, is they went ahead and they just broke it down into two partial products. They took 23 and they broke that down into 3 and 20, and we're going to multiply 3 times 54 and 20 times 54. And we could actually, you know what, we're actually going to break it down even further. Even though it says 54 here, we're actually going to break that down even further. We're going to draw another line right there. And we're going to break this 50 into 50 and 4. Okay, break it down into 50 and 4. So now we're going to have 3 times 50, 3 times 4, 20 times 50, and 20 times 4. Okay, and when we do this, that means that we're going to disregard this right here. Okay, and when we do this, we're actually breaking apart our numbers 23 and 54, and we're going to be able to set ourselves up for what 54 times 23 is going to be. We're using the standard algorithm. Okay, so we're going to kind of jump back and forth. So with the standard algorithm, we're going to start just like we would with a multi-digit number times a one-digit number. So I would say 3 times 4, which is what I have right here. So 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, but I can't write 12 there. So I have to put my 2 and I have to regroup 1. Okay, and so then I have 3 times 5, but that's not actually 3 times 5. That's 3 times a 5 in the tens place, which is 3 times 50. So I've got 3 times 50, alright, which we know is going to be 150, okay, or 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 1 more is 162. Okay, and so what this means is that if we had done this over here, and we had said, I'm going to have to write small, if we had said 150, and we had said 12, well, 150 plus 12 is 162. So this first row in my area model, this top row up here, is what I did here in my standard algorithm. So that was really 3 times 54. Okay, that was 3 times 54. Okay, I know it's confusing jumping back and forth, but I want you to see the comparisons between the two. Okay, so we've done 54 times 3. We're done with that 3. So I'm actually going to mark through it because we're done with that 3. Okay, and so now I have this 2 times 54, but that 2 isn't actually 2, it's in the tens place, so it's 20. So I'm going to have 20 times 4, and then 20 times a 5 in the tens place, so it'll be 20 times 50, and I have both of those over here, 20 times 50 and 20 times 4. So 20 times 50, 2 times 5 is 10, and then I have 2 zeros, so I'm going to need to add 2 more zeros. So it's 1,000, and then 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 0. So together that would be 1,000 plus 80, so 1,080. Alright, let's check that. 20 times 40 is 80, so I would put a 0, right, and I would regroup. But what's cool about the standard algorithm is that when we go to this second line here, we're always going to put a 0 right there. Always going to put a 0 right there. So instead of having to go, oh gosh, 20 times 4, oh that's 80, what do I do? Always put a 0 right there. That 0 will always go right there, and then we can move forward. So here we said 1,080. Okay, and so that's going to end up going here. Alright, and I'm just simply going to add those together. So 8 plus 6 is 14. Regroup. So 54 times 23, or 23 times 54, is 1,242. I know that was a lot jumping between the area model and the standard algorithm, so we're going to go again, and I'm going to try to do one at a time, and hopefully that'll help any confusion, because I can already see the puzzled looks on your faces. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another one. Alright, we've got 46 times 54. Okay. So we'll do it like that. I'm going to highlight our problem. Again, for this problem, we're also going to disregard this right here. Okay, we're also going to disregard this. Alright, and so I'm going to break apart this 54 again. So I'm going to bring it down. And I'm going to have 4 and 50. Okay, 4 and 50. So I'm going to have 6 times 50, which is going to be 300. And I'm going to have 6 times 4, which is going to be 24. Alright, and then 300 plus 24 is going to be 324. We're going to hold that for a second. Alright, and then down here, I'm going to have 40 times 50. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 0, one more. 2,000. And then 40 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. One more 0. Alright, and then 2,000. Again, 2,000 plus 160 is 2,160. Alright, and so we're going to just hold these two for a second. Alright, because when we do the standard algorithm, we're going to follow the same way that we did when we were doing times a one-digit number. Okay, so I would start with the ones place, and I would say, okay, 6 times 4 is 24. Regroup 2. 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, 6 times 5 is 30. Plus 2 more is 32. My top row over here in my area model, where I did 6 times 50 and 6 times 4, I got the same thing. I got 324, which made 324. So this right here was 6 times 54. Okay. And then when you're doing the algorithm, okay, we always put a 0 placeholder here because we're done with that 6, so I'm going to mark it out. We always put this 0 placeholder here because we're now going to multiply 4 times 4 and 4 times 5. But that 4 is in the tens place, so it's actually 40. But by putting this 0 in the ones place, we're holding that spot, and we're able to move forward and think about our facts. So now I'm going to say, alright, 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, I'm done with that right there. I'm going to mark it out. I put a 1. Right? 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 more is 2,000, or 21. I'm sorry. Alright? And so that's 2,160, which is what I got over here with my bottom row of partial products. I did 40 times 50. So that was our 4 times 5. That was actually 40 times 50. And 40 times 4. So 2,160, that is actually 40 times 54. Alright, and then just like we did with our area models before, we have to add these partial products together. So 4 plus 0 is 4, 6 plus 2 is 8, 1 plus 3 is 4, and 2 plus nothing is 2. So our product is 2,484. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and highlight my answers so that they are clear. Alright. Now what we're doing is just slightly different than what it's asking you to do on here. We're still expressing with partial products, but instead of 2 partial products, we're doing 4 partial products. Okay, and using the distributed property, and then we solve. So the solve aspect is our standard algorithm. Okay, I'm really just taking this piece out for us and including more of a visual of what we're doing over here. Alright. So again, down here, looking at number 3, it says express 55 times 47. Okay, we're going to disregard this part. Alright, we have to fill in the entire area model on our own. So I'm going to go ahead and add this right here. So now I have my 4 partial products. 55, I'm going to break down into 50 and 5. It wouldn't matter if I put it down the side or going across the top, as long as I did 47 on the other side. We can't mix and mingle them, but as long as I keep 55 together and 47 together, it doesn't matter what side they go on. So we're going to do 5 and 50, okay, and then we're going to do 40 and 7. Alright, so that means I'm going to have 5 times 40, which is 200, and 5 times 7, which is 35. Okay, 200 plus 35 is 235. Alright, then I'm going to have 5 times 40, or 50, I'm sorry, 50 times 40. 5 times 40, 4 is 20, 2 more zeros. And then 50 times 7. 5 times 7 is 35, 1 more 0. And down here I'm going to have 2,000 plus 350, which equals 2,350. Alright, and so if I were to add those two together, I should be able to get the same answer over here. So let's go ahead and move over to the standard algorithm. Okay, for the standard algorithm, I'm going to start just like I would any other time. 5 in the ones place is where I'm going to start. This 5 in the ones place. So 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, plus my regroups my 3. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 more is 23. Okay, now what I've done here, okay, is the first row. The first row of my area model. That's what I've done. I've done 47 times 5. Okay, so I am going to dot that down here. 47 times 5. That's what I've done there. Okay, 47 times 5. Alright, I'm done with this 5 in the ones place, and I'm done with this regrouped 3. So I'm going to mark through those so I don't get confused. Okay, and so now I have to move on to this 5. This 5 is in the tens place though, so that's 50. And in order to not have to multiply 50 times 7 and 50 times 40 like I did over here, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 placeholder. Okay, and that keeps me from having to say 50 times 7, 50 times 40, and so on. Okay, and so now I'm able to say, okay, 5 times 7, that's 35. So I put my 5, I'm going to regroup 3. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 more is 23. Now if I look, that's the same number that I got here when I took these two partial products and added them together. So this right here was the product of 50 times 47, okay, or 47 times 50. And then as always, we have to add our partial products together. So 5 plus 0, I'm sorry, 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 plus 3 is 5. And 2 plus nothing is 2. Okay. Alright, now I know that the area model, jumping back between the area model and the standard algorithm can be a little bit confusing. But one thing I want you to understand is that the area model is a good visual, okay, for understanding why we're able to do the things that we do in the standard algorithm. I don't expect you to, on a regular basis, do both of these strategies at the same time. We use each of the strategies to help understand the other, okay? And so, if you like the area model, do the area model. If you like the standard algorithm, do the standard algorithm. Just understand that when we get to 5th grade, we're going to have to be fluent in the standard algorithm. So that's why I'm introducing it to you now, so that you can understand what to do, okay? If you prefer the area model, by all means, you're welcome to do the area model, as long as the directions don't ask you to use a specific strategy. Okay, we ran into that on a test recently. You do have to sometimes use a specific strategy. So we need to be familiar with all strategies so that we can be prepared for those things. Alright, now we're running a little long on this video, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys go ahead and finish the problem set on your own. Do not feel as though you have to finish it completely. I want you to get as much done as you can with these 6 minutes left, 5 minutes left in your station. Okay, get as many of them as you can done, and we will work on an exit ticket all together in class. But understand that this is what we're doing. So as the directions read different things, this is what we're working on. All right.